Tell us what you think the impact of a production cut from Saudi Arabia and Russia might have.
Well, it's obviously welcome. It'll be very welcome by the industry. In the short run, as long as the coronavirus continues, there's just a substantial amount of excess capacity being generated every day. As you know, so much excess supply, I should say, being generated every day, so much so that we're starting to worry about storage capacity for it. So this will be extremely helpful. It'll be particularly helpful as we come out of this virus, and it'll speed the time, hopefully, where the supply-demand for oil can get into balance. But we're a long, long way from that. And people had warned, even with a substantial move from Saudi Arabia and Russia, we're going to be spending a substantial amount of time working off a high level of oversupply. And that's still true, but this obviously helps.
President Kaplan, I want to ask you a question about the outlook for the economy. We went into this with the general belief this was going to be very painful in the second quarter with a rebound in the third quarter. I'm wondering if that's your view or if there's growing concern that what's going to happen or what's happening right now might be something that would create lingering weakness in the third quarter, such that the rebound may be further out this year.
Well, so we're like everyone else. We're looking at various models of when the curve begins to flatten, and still based on our models, our judgment is obviously severe contraction in the second quarter, probably some negative GDP at the start of the third quarter, and then a rebound. The issue is what's the strength of the rebound, and the reason we're trying to come to grips with that into the third and fourth quarter is, as you and I have talked before, business fixed investment for the last couple of years has been sluggish. Manufacturing's been sluggish. The bright spot of the economy, the underpinning, has been the consumer. And clearly the consumer is going to come out of this weakened from what we've had in the past. We think we're going to have unemployment that's going to get in the low to mid-teens. We will likely end the year, though, we believe, below 10% unemployment, probably closer to 8%. But then it's going to take us a while to work that off, and so the consumer is going to be much more cautious for obvious reasons. And so there's just an open question about what the strength of the consumer is going to be once we get past this virus and we get into the fourth quarter and we get into 2021. And I think that's a big challenge and question mark for the economy.
President Kaplan, in light of that, I know the Federal Reserve has done an awful lot so far, but from the Department of What Have You Done For Me Lately, I'm wondering if you could discuss additional things the Fed might be considering at this point. There's this Main Street lending facility, and there's talk about state governments being in really severe problems right now. For example, New York State not getting very much income. I imagine states across the country are going to have problems. What else is the Federal Reserve considering here that might be able to help the economy right now?
So I'm going to be cautious about what I talk about, but obviously the Main Street lending program, the Fed is working at breakneck speed to try to get that up and running, because it's essential that we get that running as soon as possible, because small businesses are desperately depending on assistance, and we want to preserve as many jobs and also have as many small businesses come out of this as possible. So that's one thing, but that's public information. Regarding municipal securities, municipal situation, we're already buying commercial paper of municipalities. It is clear, as you just said, municipalities, though, need assistance. They have to balance their budgets every year. They're not getting tax revenues. And so it's for investment-grade municipalities, credit-worthy municipalities, it's understandable why that is a topic in the same way that we're already buying investment-grade corporate bonds.
President Kaplan, Sarah Eisen here. Great to talk to you.
Good to talk to you.
Just help us understand how you think about an initial jobless claims number like we got today, 6.6 million Americans filing for unemployment. How does that change our economy? How many of those are jobs lost for good? How should we be thinking about the damage that this is doing from a jobs perspective and a broader economic perspective?
Okay, so the way I think about that, roughly speaking, there's the workforce in the United States is 160 million workers, and so I mentioned earlier that it's our view at the Dallas Fed that we're going to get into unemployment in the low to mid-teens, and so I may not be a good judge of what the pace of getting there will be, but I feel pretty strongly we're going to get to that, and so if that's the case, it means something like low to mid-teens percentage of 160 million workers are for at least some period of time are going to be unemployed and submit unemployment claims. So in that regard, the 3 million last week and the 6 million today is consistent with that. I'm probably not going to be a great judge of what the pace of it's going to be, but I think that's where we're heading.